Welcome back. LinkedIn is one of the best things that has happened to the job market. Now, depending on your geographic location, you'll see different levels of activity for LinkedIn. So this is something that you'll have to consider for yourself and make sure that LinkedIn is a good option for your location. Now, let's have a look at LinkedIn so we can talk about it and also to see if it's a viable option for yourself. The best way to actually see if it's worth your time to invest in a LinkedIn profile is to actually just do a search for jobs. And in here, you can do all sorts of filters. But if I go to all filters, you can look for jobs based on your location and the type of job that you're looking for. If there are jobs, then perhaps you need a LinkedIn profile because, well, this is a great way to apply to jobs, which you can do on LinkedIn, but also have recruiters contact you through LinkedIn, which actually happens a lot. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. I personally think that LinkedIn is 100% better than resumes. And it's something that every single person should have, especially if you want a job in the tech industry. And by the way, I'm no specialist when it comes to LinkedIn. And there's a lot of people and books that talk about how to optimize these things. However, if you craft things well enough, you'll find you'll get contacted by recruiters constantly on LinkedIn. From my experience, when you have a good LinkedIn profile, you'll get contacted for job offers, which again is a great thing to have in the back of your pocket as an extra way to increase those odds of getting an interview. So here's the keys to LinkedIn, fast and quick. Number one is to look for jobs and apply to jobs through LinkedIn. Again, I showed you how to do that. You can see what jobs are available and actually apply to them directly. LinkedIn is pretty much like your resume. So it should have very similar items as your resume. Whatever makes your profile complete, well, you should add it over here, just like I have done for myself. Now, the interesting thing here is that recruiters for other companies and tech recruiters usually search LinkedIn for candidates. And what they do is they do keyword searches. So if I'm a recruiter looking for, let's say, a Python developer, I'm going to Google Python developer and maybe check that a LinkedIn profile has the word Python in it. Maybe I'll check that if I scroll down here, that skills and endorsements, that this person has Python, and perhaps whether this person changed their profile recently. And that's a little trick. Update your profile every week when you're looking for a job on LinkedIn, since it's going to show up in a recruiter's search result. So even if it's a small change, such as just a little typo or a little space, it's going to show up as an updated profile. And recruiters are actually going to see that this person changed their profile recently, which means they're more likely to be looking for a job and they're more likely to reach you. So you can actually just do this every couple of days when you're looking for a job so that it increases your odds of you getting onto recruiters' search results. You also want to include keywords that recruiters are looking for. And I have an example here for you. If I scroll to one of my positions here, I have a list of my favorite tools in 2017. And I actually did this strategically because all these tools that I'm using are now keywords that if a recruiter or company is looking for somebody with MongoDB experience or maybe serverless architecture or Firebase or any of these things, my profile includes those. So I'm going to show up in those results. So think of it that way. What are the keywords that will make you more approachable? Try to get recommendations from other people. Message your friends or colleagues or coworkers and get them to refer you. Not that recruiters or companies will read this, but again, when your profile shows up in searches, it's more likely to be ranked higher up because you have these recommendations. By the way, these skills and endorsements are things that, well, usually you get from people such as your connections on LinkedIn. It's really hard to get this number up. So I've actually created a little group for us where if I go to groups, and by the way, LinkedIn is updating these. So it's going to actually change most likely from how you see it in the video. And here we have members that you can connect with and actually ask for referrals, skills, and endorsement, just to again boost your LinkedIn profile. Finally, something that we're going to talk about in the email section, but some of the best way to get jobs is to not just blindly email companies that don't know anything about you. Getting referrals or being referred by somebody within the company is one of the best ways to do that. And for me, myself, I'm not very sociable. I don't really like networking and going to events. Or perhaps maybe I don't know somebody at a company and there's no way for me to get a referral. Well, LinkedIn allows us to do this by simply searching for, let's say, Netflix. I want to work at Netflix. I'm going to click on this company. Or actually, if we go back and do Netflix and click on Netflix in people, I'm going to look for people that work in Netflix. If it works, oh, there you go. A little bit slow there. And I see here people that actually work in Netflix and some of my connections to them. I see that I have shared connections and I can message somebody, I can connect with them. I can also see that, this person is actually a recruiter at Netflix and I have some sort of a shared connection. Maybe I should message her and see if I can get an introduction, or maybe I can pass my resume on to her or set up a phone interview. In other words, LinkedIn allows us to see that we have mutual friends and we can vouch for each other's credibility or perhaps contact somebody directly at Netflix that can get us an interview. Again, it's all about being strategic and efficient and doing what most people aren't willing to do, which will make you stand up. All right, so to review. Update your LinkedIn profile with the skills that you have and according to the jobs that you're targeting. Recruiters are going to use LinkedIn to look for candidates, and they'll always search for users who have recently changed their profiles, since it signals to them that this person's looking for a job. And also try to include the relevant skills and have those keywords ready so that you do show up in those search results. You can also apply to jobs directly through LinkedIn, and you can also find people or companies that you want to work for that you can connect with, message, or get referrals from. Again, something we'll talk a little bit more in detail in our email section. Using a tool like this that allows you to be discovered while you're sleeping just optimizes your chance of getting interviews without making you spend a ton of time trying to get those interviews. Again, so you can focus on things that really matter. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.